Hello everyone. Before I start explaining our app, I want to explain about the beacon. This is the beacon, a coin-shaped equipment, which is an equipment which will continuously broadcast BLE signals uh, based on the time frequency we derive. Means it can do the broadcasting every second or 2 seconds or 10 seconds, maximum 30 seconds. So we can configure that broadcasting from the mobile app which has been provided by the beacon manufacturer. This beacon will broadcast its BLE signals up to a radius of 70 meters. So once this beacon is in broadcasting mode, it'll send signals within a radius of 70 meters. Now the mobile app which we created will be equipped to identify the UUID, MAC address, and instance ID uh, broadcasted by the beacon device. Now the first level of authentication will happen when a UUID message which was being sent from the beacon which was been collected by the mobile will be forwarded in an SQL query to the beacon authentication DB. So once it is an authenticated beacon, if for example we take UUID of attendance will be 1 and UUID of access card will be 2. If the UID is 1, it will hit the attendance DB and see the authentication and then record the timing which will be displayed over the mobile screen. If the UID of the beacon is 2, then it will send the SQL query to the access card DB and then it'll see the authorization and then send the notification to the access card system door lock, and from there you will get to open the access card door system to your ODC or whichever place you want to go. To simulate this whole process, we have created 3 dummy DBs in our app which has the dynamic static data, the UUID which we have UUID and MAC address information of the beacon. Now once I'll be showing this whole process in the mobile phone. Before that, I just want every one of you to understand the architecture of this whole app, how it functions. So the main logic consists in the mobile app. So beacon's job is just to broadcast the notification of UUID, MAC address, and instance ID, which was shown in the screenshot which I have attached to the mail. That information will be authenticated by the mobile with the validation in the beacon authentication DB, and then the actions will be performed. So the main logic of whether it is a beacon attendance DB, so the main action persists in the mobile app. It has the intelligence to understand whether the beacon notification is from attendance DB, attendance beacon, or access beacon. Based on that, it will take the permissions from the database of employer. Now I'll be explaining the functionality of the app. So there will be 2 screens, one is login and one is register. So to register, you can use your LAN account LDAP, that will be secure because this is a pre-existing data in your DB. So for now so let's consider my employee ID as 22, which I already given in the DB. So it will be 22 and M password would be 33. Now So after doing this, it will send an automated mail request to the manager for the approval. This flag, there is a flag in the DB which would toggle after the approval. This can be integrated with the normal approval system of the attendance. So that in this action, not only with the mobile number, it will also send the data of the IMEI number of your mobile phone and IMSI of your SIM card, so that the authentication process will be secured while doing the attendance or access system. For simulation purpose, we have enabled the flag of authentication as approved. Now, for the same user, I am logging in. So, in this action, it has identified the beacon which is in the range with the Bluetooth. Since Bluetooth is already enabled, BLE signals will be received, and it already took an authentication in this action. If at all the authentication is not done, this page will not appear. So hence this page is appeared. The authentication of this beacon is already done. In both the DBs, we have entered the same beacon addresses, MAC address and UID, as we have only one beacon right now. But for the simulation purpose, we have used the same beacon in both the DBs. Now, if I want to check in with the attendance, I would say on. Now the login time is 5:47. You can see the 5:47. It has taken the login time now. For access, it will say open. So basically, in a real time, the same request will be sent to the access database, and that database will enable the door locking system to open if there is an respect to authentications. You can again try this attendance thing. If you again log in, it has updated the time. So basically, how this will help in attendance tracking would be the first and the last login would be the login and logout timing of an employee. These beacons will be placed in near the entry and exit gates, and all the beacon data will be statically uploaded into the beacon DB for the authentication purpose. If it is non-recognized beacon, here itself the authentication will be closed and this page will never appear. Hope you understand our solution. I would expect a few questions like, how secure is this app? How would we get the authentication? How do we know that this is the right beacon and all? So we designed our architecture in a very simple way by reutilizing the current capabilities of current infrastructure. So for everything we are using the LDAP login, that is our LAN ID password for registration or for login. At the time of registration, it would be triggering a flag approval, that's it, which is already existing. So that approval process will be as standard as it was before. Once the beacon reaches the mobile app, beacon signal reaches the mobile app, it will go for an initial authentication whether this beacon relates to Tech Mahindra or not. If that is approved, then the next respective action will be hitting our employee database with two different databases. One is attendance DB database and other is access card DB. So all these are pre-existing. Only two entities would come into the picture. One is beacon authentication and registration and approval for this app. These are the two new actions which we are going to introduce with this app. App is anyway developed. approval flag should be enabled for the should be enabled while registration, and beacon authentication database would be the initial step to enter into the employee database. Hope this video answers many of your questions. If any questions, you can write back to me and we can have a WebEx call on 12th.